Hello Icons! Welcome back to science class. Are you all ready for a knowledge-packed class today? Yes? I know. You're all eager to learn new things. But before we start, let's have a recap of what we learned in the last class. In the last class, we learned something interesting about atoms, right? What is it? Yes, atoms, though tiny, have particles inside them, right? What are those called? You're right. Those are called subatomic particles. Can you name those particles? Okay, so we have proton, electron, neutron, and a nucleus in an atom. Proton, electron, and neutron are called subatomic particles. And we have a nucleus at the center of any atom. This is what we learnt in the last class, right? Now, let's go further and extend our knowledge. Let's learn something new today. Are you all ready? Okay. Today we are going to learn about something called elements. Now what are elements? I know this is also a new word for you, but I'll explain. Elements are something like your atoms. Elements are the simplest form of a substance and they cannot be divided any further. Okay, do you know atoms cannot be divided? Yes, atoms cannot be cut or divided any further because they are the smallest particles of any material. Okay, similarly, elements are also the simplest form of a substance and cannot be divided any further. I know this is quite new to you, but that's okay. For now, just remember that atoms or elements cannot be divided any further. Okay? Okay. Now, all these elements that I am talking about are arranged in a sequence, like your numbers in a sequence. Okay? You have 1, 2, 3 and so on in your number sequence, right? Similarly, we have elements from 1, 2, 3 and so on till 118 arranged in a sequence. Okay? But these elements are arranged depending upon the number of protons present inside an element. Okay? I think you all know that one of the subatomic particles is proton in an atom, right? So, all the elements are arranged depending upon protons inside that element. Like, the element which has one proton in its atom is the first element. The element which has two protons in its atom is the second element, and the element which has three protons in its atom is the third element. Okay? And all these elements are arranged in a table called a periodic table. I know it is new, but it is something like your number chart in math. Okay? This is how a periodic table looks like. So these are all elements present arranged in the periodic table. Can you see number 1 and 2 here? Yes. So each element has an atomic number based upon the number of protons present inside it. Okay? The element which has one proton is the first element and has atomic number 1. The element which has two protons is the second element and its atomic number is 2, and so on till 118th element. Okay, I hope you understood to some extent, but I think it becomes easy once you watch this video. Okay, so let's watch this video to understand better about atoms and elements.
Everything. But what makes up atoms? Protons, electrons, and neutrons. There are 118 different kinds of atoms, which are each the smallest part of an element. If we observe elements like gold, carbon, and oxygen, we can see that they have very different properties that don't look or act the same. But why are they so different? Well, it comes down to what's inside their atoms. As you can see here, atoms are made of just 3 types of tiny particles called protons, electrons, and neutrons. And each of these tiny particles does something special. For example, it's the number of protons inside an atom that makes each element different. If we look at the periodic table, the first element, hydrogen, has 1 proton. The second element, helium, has 2 protons. And the third element, lithium, has 3 protons. This goes on all the way up to the 118th element, oganesson, which has, that's right, 118 protons in its nucleus. By the way, the number of protons in an atom is also called its atomic number, which you can see here on the periodic table of elements. Now,
okay, so I hope you have a little better understanding now. I know you learned a lot many new things from last class and this class. And you learned about atoms, elements, periodic table, right? Keep this in mind and share your knowledge with your parents. They'll be surprised when they see you talk about atoms, elements, periodic table and all. Because we haven't learned all this when we were of your age. Okay? Let's learn a few new words to improve our scientific vocabulary. So, from the last class and today's class, we came across a few new words, right? Like nucleus, electrons, protons, neutrons, elements, right? So, let's list them down in the journal and learn them. So, your task is to list down the new words and to learn them. Open your journal, write today's date, day, class task, and put the heading as I am listing down the words that I came across. First one, nucleus. Second one, electrons. Third one, protons. Fourth one, neutrons. Fifth one, elements. Okay? List them down, and after listing them down, because we have learned something new today, let's write reflection on what we learned. Leave a line after writing the words and put the heading as reflection. Okay? And you may pause the video and write the reflection from here, or go back and check the PDF attached for this. You may write it from there in your journal. Okay? Also, learn the words that you have written in the journal and go through the reflection. Okay? I think you have all become little more knowledgeable now. Let's stop here and continue in the next class. But do not forget to share your knowledge with parents and others. Okay? Bye children.